Hello and welcome. I am Lopamudra Moitro and you are listening to my weekly podcast, What's in a Story, where I read stories from my books along with a small introduction about each. These stories are from my work as an anthropologist from across India and South Asia, and the introductions with each story helps to explain different related information about, say, maybe aspects like history, languages and literature, music, trade and economy, festivals, or facts about archaeology, and many other things which are all important to understand or get a meaning or a context of a story. In this second season, we will listen specially to narratives of and about water bodies from Asia, and this will include stories from the smallest of water bodies like wells or small ponds to lakes, rivers, or the sea and the ocean. Let's listen to today's episode in season 2 of What's in a Story. About today's story. Today's story is from the Union Territory of Lakshadw, situated in the Arabian Sea. The title of today's story is The Legend of Pampum Palli of Amini Island. There's something to specially speak about today's story. Folklore, often different types of oral traditions often speak about various types of local as well as regional history which remain embedded within them as a subtext. A close study and closer analysis of these often helps to speak about many different types of history, perspectives of history also, which might not be known to people who are away from the region or people from outside of the area. Today's story is one such example. The original story is in Jazari, which comes from the Arabic word Jazira, meaning islands. Basically speaking about this language Jazari as the language of the islands. This story has been written by Ubaidullah Thangal for this volume. Pampum Palli, or the Snake Mosque in Lakshadw, has another name, Maula Palli, referring to the Qazi who led the act of poisoning of the Portuguese in the story. This story relates to unfortunate events during the Portuguese colonial times in the island. This is a very popular story from the island. Tufat al-Mujahideen by Sheikh Jainuddin Maghdum not only mentions the atrocities of Portuguese in the islands of Lakshadw in the 16th century, but also speaks about the spirit of the local islanders and how they put up a brave fight against the brutal Portuguese army. In the fight, many became martyrs, including the Qazi of the island of Amini. As opined by some of the islanders and reflected in oral traditions, the Portuguese carried out the vehement attack on the island by killing several people in the island of Amini to avenge the Pampum Palli incident. A little about the author. The author Ubaidullah Thangal is a native of Androt Island of the Union Territory of Lakshadw. He is presently working as officer, marketing, and public relations officer and law officer in Lakshadw Development Corporation Limited. Follows the story of Pampum of Amini Island. The story. The legend of Pampum of Amini Island. Farangi couple, meaning Portuguese corvettes, arrived in the island of Lakshadw in small boats with very dangerous weapons like guns. Soon, an episode of loot and plunder started, including molestation of local women. The helplessness of the locals paved the way for further ruthlessness. The locals were no match to the gunpowder used by the Portuguese, and a large number of people laid down their lives. Houses as well as mosques were burned down and women were treated mercilessly. The atrocities knew no bounds. Angry and frustrated with the mayhem and carnage caused by the Firangis, the people of Amini Island united under the leadership of the Qazi and made a plan to end this tyranny. The Qazi decided to kill the Firangis by poisoning them. As there was no poison available in the island, they decided to bring snake poison from Kozhikode, which is popularly presently known as Calicut. Soon, a trading vessel from Kozhikode brought snake poison to the island, and the Qazi, along with many locals, waited for the enemy to arrive. When they did arrive in small boats, the Qazi and the locals invited them for a feast in the mosque. The invitation was accepted. The food served to the Portuguese was poisoned with the snake poison brought from Kozhikode. They died immediately after consuming the poisoned food. Thus, the islanders took their revenge for the atrocities committed against them. The mosque in which this last feast was offered came to be known as Pampum or the Snake Mosque.